We have to wind up this. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll try to make my points within those few minutes, but I request that you make it 5. Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy that we are looking at the issue of a sexual offences bill amendment, and I want to thank Honorable Donya for bringing this bill. Mr. Speaker, I was actually the author and architect of this bill. When I was in civil society, I wasn't in parliament at that time, and Honorable Njoki Ndung'u then sponsored it in parliament, and I want to thank her for the excellent work she did. Mr. Speaker, after many years since the passing of the Sexual Offences Act, it is evident that there are many teething problems, and Mr. Speaker, because where the rubber meets the road is when you actually then see where the challenges are. And there are many, many issues that have been highlighted, that have been noted in the implementation of the Sexual Offences Act that actually calls for a comprehensive review. And I know that there is a task force that is working on a comprehensive review, and I know that the bill will come with a more comprehensive review. But I want to thank Honorable Donya that even as we are waiting for that, she has brought this piecemeal amendment. Some people were opposing it. I don't think there is a problem, because even if you bring piecemeal amendment, it will still deal with some of the issues that we are confronting. One of them is the issue of awareness that has been epitomized by the comments by Honorable Aseka, that even within this house, we need awareness on issues of sexual offenses, because sometimes we end up even victimizing the victims, Mr. Speaker. That in the case of the Russian guy who has actually victimized women, really the people who should, the person who is a victim here, the women, not the Russian guy. The Russian guy is a criminal. And yet, if you actually see the way people are talking, they're actually celebrating him. I don't understand why, because sex is not a crime between adults. It may be an issue of morality. It just may show that we have moral decay in this country, and perhaps it's something that we may be challenging our religious institutions, why they are not effective in ensuring that we are not facing moral decay. But it is not a crime. So what is a crime is that if you have sex in private with a fellow adult, that you go out and share that, that should be a crime. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, somebody has mentioned the issue of technology-facilitated sexual abuse, affecting especially young people, but also affecting adults, as we have seen in this case. We must amend the law to provide for technology-facilitated sexual abuse. But above all, I want to thank Honorable Donya because of the issues that she's raised, but especially the issue of awareness. And we must rethink and really move away from our traditional notions about abuse. There were days when a woman wouldn't be married unless she's a virgin. Half the men here are marrying women who are not virgins, and nobody has taken you to court for not marrying virgins. But you cannot criminalize people because of morality. Criminalize people because of criminal activity. Abuse is abuse. We need to understand what abuse is, and that's why it's important. But we also need to create awareness with our young people so that they do not find themselves in situations where they may end up getting harmed. For instance, I keep hearing people talking about the way people dress and all that. It is not a crime to wear a short dress. But we need to inform our girls that there are people with terrible minds, that when they see legs, they think it's an entitlement to abuse girls. So we need to also get our girls to be safe and to take the first responsibility for their own security. The reason why I actually pushed for the Sexual Offences Act even then is because I worked at the Cradle. And when we founded the Cradle, it was support children who are in conflict with the law. But the cases that ended up coming to us were children who are sexually abused. And Mr. Speaker, some of them were cases which could be avoided if we had given better awareness both to our children and to the community in general. Because my time is up, I wish to support and congratulate Honorable Donya. Thank you.
Done. Honorable Donya, you have the chance to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like, before I make my final submission, to give Honorable Dorothy 3 minutes and Nzengu 3 minutes. So we start. So I can give Millie 2 minutes. I think that will be enough. Then I thought it was 15, mine.
Odonya, you know you have 10 minutes. So if you
I can give Dorothy 2 minutes.
Uh-huh.
2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead. And make it 2 minutes, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I too want to add my voice to this very important amendment and thank my sister, Honorable Doris, for bringing this amendment before this House. Honorable Speaker, the principal object of this bill is to amend the Sexual Offences Act, Cap 63A, and to mandate the Cabinet Secretary responsible, Honorable Speaker, to ensure that there is public engagement and public awareness on sexual offenses. Honorable Speaker, a lot has been said in this House, and I want to very quickly say, when we come to sexual offenses, Honorable Speaker, the perpetrators of these acts are people, in most cases, who are well known to the victims, Honorable Speaker. It is people who are very close, especially when it comes to children and young girls. And in most cases, Honorable Speaker, these voices are so silenced that they don't raise it even when it happens. Sometimes they are very traumatized if it is a close relative who has abused them, and they cannot highlight it because of the stigma. Honorable Speaker, also, we have lost our girls through femicide, Honorable Speaker, because they end up in hands of people who are well known to them, and then they end up being killed, losing of life. So these particular offenses have impacted so negatively in our communities, Honorable Speaker, and it is the high time that we stand in the gap and do something. Thank you, Honorable Donya, for bringing this amendment before the floor of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Zengu.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity once again to contribute to these amendments. And I want to thank my sister, Honorable Donya, for donating that 2 minutes to me. I just, from the onset, rise to support the amendment, and particularly the fact that Honorable Member is proposing to amend the law to allow or to compel the Cabinet Secretary in charge of legal affairs to do promotion and awareness creation. So, because I think a lot of people may not understand what it means by sexual offenses. And therefore, we have young people who are like students, and sometimes they interact with the adults in the form of teachers or even parents or caregivers. And sometimes they are subjected to sexual harassment, and they may not be able to detect that they are actually being harassed, and it is an offense that is being committed on them. So I want to support the fact that, yes, the minister or the Cabinet Secretary should be able to create awareness in all institutions, whether institutions of learning, whether institutions of healthcare, like people who get sexually harassed in hospitals, when the doctors are mishandling a patient, that is also sexual offense. And if we remember the case of Alliance Girls, remember it came up 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago, where it came as a confession of old girls who had been subjected to a lot of sexual harassment by the teachers that were supposed to take care of them. So, Mr. Speaker, I support the amendment. Thank you, Honorable Odonya.
Honorable Millie.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this bill, and I want to commend Honorable Donya for really giving us a very good bill. And this bill on Clause 7 gives express direction to the Cabinet Secretary for Education to ensure that sexual offenses that affects learners, especially those students who become pregnant, those who are stigmatized, those who are traumatized, the bill expressly tells the Cabinet Secretary to establish programs, to establish safeguards, to ensure that those who have been actually affected by sexual offenses, the teenage girls, and at times even the boys, Honorable Speaker, the minister is supposed to develop programs of guidance and counseling, develop programs on how to ensure that these students or these victims do not fall out of the education system as a result of the problems of sexual offenses. Honorable Donya, I want to commend you because this is a problem that is very prevalent in our society. Sexual offenders are known individuals within communities, and they affect children. They stigmatize them, and in fact, they traumatize and even affect their educational programs in the community. So I want to say that this is very important, and Honorable Speaker, it is an express direction to the
offenders or those offended. Thank you. Honorable Donya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Kindly, please, I give Honorable Adipo 1 minute.
Yeah. Honorable Donya, you'll
Yeah.
proceed to reply.
Okay, no worry. Honorable Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the honorable members for their insightful contributions, ranging from informing the public on the importance of this bill, which I majored more on advocacy and awareness. The members' contributions were very welcoming. They noted, Mr. Speaker, that we should not encourage arbitration matters when it comes to sexual offenses, that we should not make things look nice when they are not nice, Mr. Speaker, like becoming soft on saying that we should not have sex education, while we know well, Mr. Speaker, sex is very important. No one can run away from it. No one came from Mars. We all came out of this act when it is done properly, Mr. Speaker. There is some agostopia behaviors, Mr. Speaker, which need to stop. And when we address them out, for example, we tell our people, when there are people who look at you seated or they start talking ill of someone else's body, how it looks like, you start telling us, look at her, you have big breasts, as if you wanted her to leave the breasts at home. You have big body parts. Such things, Mr. Speaker, when we talk about it, it's not that it is an offense. Rather, those are things which happen, and we live with them. Let us, as Mama County from Kisii, I encourage our people to come up and speak about this issue of sexual offenses. We all accept it is a big challenge. Even government should be very intentional about protecting the lives of our young people. And in fact, these amendments, Mr. Speaker, they are sufficiently vital as they will always safeguard everyone in our society in curbing child sexual abuses, because this has remained ugly and uncouth in the society. Mr. Speaker, while Kenya has made significant progress in strengthening its legal framework against sexual offenses, the persistence of these crimes in our society calls for renewed and deliberate action. For a robust law to achieve its purpose, the people need to fully understand its provisions, their rights, and the mechanisms available for protection and redress. This objective given to the Cabinet Secretary is simple yet weighty. It seeks to move beyond recreative enforcement and embrace proactive prevention through education. Honorable Speaker, by mandating structured and nationwide public awareness initiatives, this amendment will ensure that every Kenyan understands what constitutes a sexual offense under the law, the rights and protections available to victims, the legal consequences faced by offenders, and the procedures for reporting and accessing support services such as counseling. No one should ever feel embarrassed, Mr. Speaker, when reporting matters.
Oh, Maba, please proceed to wind up.
Honorable Speaker, it is important to note that whereas the bill mandates the Cabinet Secretary responsible for legal affairs in consultation with the Cabinet Secretary responsible for education to establish programs to safeguard, protect, and promote the right to education of victims sexual offenses, it is the Ministry of Education that is responsible for making and implementing policies on the right to education, including programs to protect and promote the right to education of victims of sexual offenses. Therefore, this proposal may be amended to excessively leave these functions to the Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of Education to be responsible. I hereby, Mr. Speaker, wish to beg to reply, but I request you don't put a question because I don't think if we have quorum, Mr. Speaker. I beg.
Thank you so much. The putting of the question on this bill will be, as requested, be made the next time we have the capacity to do so. The next order.